Pivot, Pause, Promote. And now your host, Rebecca Silvestri.
Good day. This is Rebecca Silvestri, Senior VP of Sales and Marketing at Local Profile. This is Pivot, Pause, Promote, the show for leaders who don't let anything stand in their way. Not a global pandemic, not a down economy, nothing. Today we're discussing promotions to prosperity, and we're going to be talking about promotions marketing. First of all, frankly, is not the time to stop marketing, but it is the time to think carefully about how you're marketing, who you're marketing to, and just being a little bit empathetic about your marketing message. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in and introduce our panel of experts. Up first, Philip Silvestri.
Good morning. Thank you, Rebecca, and welcome. I'm Philip Silvestri, President and Publisher of Local Profile, and I'm very excited to be here and sharing some interesting strategies for promoting businesses in very challenging times. And I'll pass it on to Georgia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Georgia Green, founder and CEO of BU Revolution. We help clients with organizational development, leadership, and culture. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys today to help you bust through your limiting beliefs and help you promote. And over to you, Chris.
Good morning. I'm Chris Scott, Chief Operating Officer at Higher Effect. Happy Friday to you all. I'd also like to introduce Jennifer Scott.
Thank you very much. Jennifer Scott, founder and CEO of Higher Effect. I like to say we help founders find their freedom. We offer bookkeeping, finance, HR, recruiting, pretty much getting the back office stuff taken care of so business owners can get back in front of their customers, which is exactly what we're here to talk about to you today. Buddy?
Thank you, Jennifer. This is Buddy Broyles. I'm the Chief Creative Officer or producer for Visual Learning Solutions. We help people achieve their training goals to various audiences, obviously through some type of video medium like this or e-learning design. Basically anything that needs to, a message that needs to reach a larger audience from a training perspective. So we're glad to help there and hope we can add some insight in today's show. Rebecca?
I wanted to get started by talking a little bit about Local Profile. We actually obviously sell marketing advertising spaces. And recently we thought a little bit about how can we best serve our clients? Well, we've realized that our clients need help with marketing. So when you're looking at clients that need help with marketing, you need to know specifically how to help them. But first you need to know who they are. So what we've done is we're offering free marketing services, free marketing consultations. And what that means, we sit down and we discuss, first of all, who is your ideal client? What do they look like? Who are they? What do they love? What do they not love? Who are they? Unless you know who your target ideal client is, you cannot market to them. Once you figure that out, you move to step two. Step two is figuring out not what they want, not what they like, not what they even think they want. It's what is their problem? What is keeping them up at night? What is driving them crazy? And specifically, how can you help solve that problem? Don't think about you and your product. Think about how your company can solve their product. The focus has to be your ideal client. Then number three, what could my message be to that target client? And it needs to be specific. I need to talk directly to you, my target client, and focus on your pain. That's what moves people, and that's how you get people through the door of a business or engaging with your company. And so that is something we've been doing through offering free marketing consultations. And it just so happens that Jennifer of Higher Effect is someone who's actually had a free marketing consultation with us and is doing some advertising with us too. So I just wanted to shoot it over to Jennifer and talk about her experience with that. Jennifer?
Thank you so much, Rebecca. And thank you for the consultation, by the way. If I haven't said it a million times already, it was superbly helpful because we know who our ideal client is. And we know their pain and we know their problems. We've spent years developing that profile and knowing exactly what problems we solve. But the challenge really became how to pitch to them right now without sounding like insensitive. It's really hard to promote and sell and advertise and market when you have this heart mentality that says, God, I don't want to be a bother right now. I don't want to bug you. You've got bigger fish to fry. You've got stuff to do. And it was really helpful speaking with you about really truly getting the fact that what we offer actually helps them solve a problem. So if they have this big problem that's, by offering a solution to that, gets them focused on something, it frees them up to not have this still be a problem, right? They've got enough things to think about. If this is something that would normally cause them anxiety and stress, then why wouldn't I advertise that I can help them get through that anxiety and stress? Because they do have bigger fish to fry. They do have other things to think about. So speaking with you was really, really helpful. I know, Philip, you had some thoughts on this as well, and speaking with you really helped me get through my mindset of not advertising. Do you want to add anything to that?
Absolutely. So I think right now there's a lot of feeling about, should I be advertising during these challenging times? And the fact of the matter is, for us to get through this and to restart the economy, businesses are going to need to restart. They're going to need to thrive. If you have a business right now that people need the services of, you need to get in front of people. You need to remember that it is right now is a very important time to go ahead and to get in front of people, to make sure that as a business owner, that you're getting in front of your target clients and being able to help them. Because there's a lot of businesses out there that could be extremely helpful. And if your business is one of them, you owe it to your potential clients and to your existing clients to get in front of them and let people know what's going on and how your services might be able to help them. Rebecca?
Absolutely. Very true, Philip. I wanted to throw it straight over to Georgia because she, like me, believes that right now we have a duty to sell. We have a duty to provide our services to our clients. What do you think, Georgia?
Yeah, I love that, Rebecca. And you know that I believe the best thing to move forward to point B is action. We have to take massive action right now. So we talk a lot about the down economy. Well, what is the economy? It is simply people selling and people buying. And we have not only this right to be selling, but we have a duty to sell right now. But there may be, as I said in the intro, a limiting belief. And really, these are the fear stories that are popping up that may also be, guys, it could be your limited belief around your value, right? So if you know your worth and you know what you have to offer, then you know right now more than ever, your sales is more about how are you serving people? And that's how you get away from that icky kind of sales feeling. And we've talked a lot about empathetic leadership on these episodes. And right now, empathetic leadership leads to empathetic marketing. So I will say this example. I love using this example. In a time of darkness, which we are in, this sort of crisis, this uncertainty can certainly feel dark. And you guys, as leaders, we are the light in that darkness right now. And you know, when you wake up in the morning, there are some people who reject when you flip on the light. They're like, no, I don't want to wake up right now. And you have, so some people might reject your marketing. They might reject your sales aspect, right? Because the light hurts them a little bit. But if you do that and you bring your positivity, you bring your brand and your service mentality, it's going to be received because it's the thing that we need to wake up this economy, to wake up our own leadership. Buddy, I know you've got a few things to say on this as well. I'd love to hear it.
Yes, thank you so much, Georgia. Very good points. One thing I've noticed in talking to my team is, we're looking at different ways to market ourselves, market our products, work on our network, is talk to your people. I mean, they're also going through, the same stressors that you are as a business leader, as a business owner. they're concerned about their future. They're concerned about their families and their jobs. Reach out to them. They have networks too. And so they may have ideas, thoughts. Some of them have teenagers like I do that have a completely new pathway to reaching people. So maybe there's something there, a conversation that can be had certainly remotely. And then also challenge each other. I know Philip introduced me to a book called Traction a few weeks back. A great book, by the way. And I think several of the presenters here agree. So I handed that off to my business partner, and she's consuming that now. So this is a great time to learn and talk amongst yourselves about what you can do. I saw that Jennifer held something up. Go ahead, Jennifer, show us.
No, I was just giving a plug to Traction and Get a Grip, that's all. Just showing everybody it's a real thing, and Philip really did recommend it, and I actually think it came out of our Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program, which I have to give a shout out to 3 of us on this call who graduated today. Very excited. Chris, you talk a lot about network and that kind of responsibilities. Why don't you jump in here?
Thank you. What I wanted to add was this is the time for a solution sale. This is, when you're talking about your value, you're talking about solving problems. You don't think about the feature of what you're doing. Think about the benefit to your client. What is the benefit? If you're in entertainment, the benefit is, oh my God, they get to stop thinking about all this craziness and be themselves again for a little bit. With us, we help them reach their business goals, but it's the benefits that people need, and they need them more than ever. And I love the analogy of the light. Not everybody wants to think about it right now, but now is a great time to be thinking about it, because it's just more necessary than ever. Rebecca?
Awesome. So what I heard from everyone is, 1, do you value what it is that you and your company is doing? And is it of need and of service now as it was before? If it was useful before, chances are it's probably still useful now. And if it's not, you probably need to pivot. We discussed that before. But assuming it is still of value right now, do not be afraid of selling it. If it's of value, then you are helping people. People need help right now. And if you're still concerned about selling and marketing yourself, think, what else can I add? How can I go that extra step to help people? That will alleviate you from feeling bad about selling, because you're giving the extra 300%. So that's just what we did with Local Profile, for example. We know typically we sell advertising spaces, but by adding that marketing consultation, we're really going into the pain of our clients and going the extra mile to help them. So another question I'd love to throw out to my team of experts is, what are your thoughts on how best to identify a really great message for right now?
Yeah, that's a perfect question. I will say in my experience, and the questions that I'm getting a lot from my clients is really around the messaging, because there has to be a shift there, right? Because we can't just go forward with the things we normally would have maybe said. Our language has even changed in this environment, right? So some of the, kind of hard driving, and you guys know I'm a big rah kind of person, and I'm bringing the positivity and the level 11 energy, and I'm getting you to move from A to B, and we're getting there as a team. But you know what? Maybe we have to just tone it down a little bit to be sensitive to the grief process that people are going through right now. And maybe they don't need that hard sale, right? And you guys have all seen it. You've gotten those LinkedIn invitations, right? That say, oh, here's a dissertation on how I can help you. You guys, really listen. It comes down to using your emotional intelligence right now to really listen to the language of your customers. How are they speaking, so that you can figure out how are they feeling, so you can mirror it back to them. So some examples is, you may not want to say, buy now, right? Or act right now. You got to get in on this right now. It might be, how can we serve you? How can we help you? What are you going through right now? Help us understand what it is, what is your situation going through? Because that's how you get from being kind of that, we all know there's sales, but then there's being salesy, and you don't want to have that approach right now. So there are some do's and don'ts related to selling and related to promoting your brand right now. But I would say it starts, number one, with emotional intelligence. And number two would be to stay true to your authentic brand message, most importantly. Rebecca?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Georgia. So really listening to your clients is so key regardless. Always listen to your clients, always ask questions and figure out what it is that they want. It's not about you. It's never about you. Jennifer, what are your thoughts?
Thank you, Rebecca. Georgia, I agree completely. I think it's really important that you listen to your customer, you listen to your client, you listen to your community. I get asked a lot, how do I trickle that down to my team? I have people on my team whose sole job it is to sell. What are they supposed to do? And I think that's, it's really hard when it's not you doing it and you have to teach your team what it is they should be doing, especially when that's their job, that's their role, and that's what they're held accountable for. And we've had to make a pretty big shift. Yes, listening to our clients was a huge part of that shift. What do they need from us right now? Well, maybe instead of selling, they need us to share their messaging. They need us to share their social media posts. They need us to back them up on the stuff that they're doing. And so that's what we're selling. We're marketing our helpfulness, our ability to serve, and offering tips and tactics that they can use right now, because that's what they need right now. And maybe that's not generating immediate revenue. Maybe it's not, lining our pockets this moment. But I do believe that by helping and serving and being empathetic and teaching our team how to be empathetic through that listening component has made a huge difference for us. Buddy, you and I had a conversation about this recently. What are your thoughts?
Right now is a really good time to be doing social media marketing, doing these things, growing each other's network. Like, obviously another shout out to the 10K small business group that we just graduated from. We're all, I noticed just in that small group, there are 35 people, but we're all cross promoting right now. And I realize right now it doesn't so much matter, but everything takes a while. It's that snowball rolling down a hill effect, right? Do it now. Have your team do it now. Like and support each other, including like this broadcast right now. If you're not already following Local Profile on YouTube, now's the chance to like, follow, ring that bell. You have to follow us. The businesses on here, Visual Learning Solutions and Be Revolution, Higher Effect. We are going to keep having conversations like these with our customers, with our friends, with our employees. Right now is the time to really go crazy on your network, because we're all online. We're all looking. We're all trying to grow our brand or get to know other brands. We're all business leaders or people who work for businesses who are trying to find solutions, and they're there if we keep looking. But grow your network right now. Like and add and do all that stuff, because there's no downside to having a very large network, especially if you're going to publish something. If you're looking to even just publish an ad, if you have a large network, that will get shared, especially, and don't be afraid to ask people to share it. Don't be afraid to ask for likes. Don't be afraid to ask for a thumbs up. All the different platforms have the possibility to give a thumbs up or a like or any of those types of things. Ask for that stuff. Especially now, being an empathetic person, also realize that other people are the same.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I think the more we can do, absolutely the better. Georgia, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I want to just piggyback off of what Buddy was saying, but then also bringing it back to a concern, Jennifer, you mentioned about your team and what can they do. And Buddy, a couple of the things that you hit on that I just loved was, now more than ever, sales is about relationships. People do not buy products and services anymore based off of a cold sort of transaction. It's more now about trust, and that requires relationship building. So you can definitely take the opportunity to reach out and build relationships with someone. And going back to Jennifer, what you were saying, with what are some tangible things that your team can do? And I'm all about action items. So if you guys are a note taker, grab your pen right now, because I'm just going to list off a bunch of things that are going through my head about what you can do and how you can help your team sell right now. So Social media, buddy, huge. And I love that you brought that up. It is key right now because everybody is in front of their computer. And it is a soft way to get in front of somebody. You aren't in their face all the time, and people's time isn't as demanded with that. So definitely go with the social media approach to building, as kind of a first step in building trust with your brand. So a couple of things, right? Number one, check what you automatically had set up. So a lot of us have auto posts in our social media. You want to take a look at those. You definitely want to take a look at what were your maybe birthday and anniversary offerings, because maybe those offerings are irrelevant right now, or maybe you don't want to come, like I said, at level 11 out of those emails. But definitely take a look at what did you have auto posted to make sure that it's still appropriate. So a lot of times we have things, especially when we're a connection-based business, we might have connection language that maybe is a little offensive right now, or it could be triggering for people who have issues, especially around the shelter-in-place orders. So you maybe don't want to do things like, we work hand in hand with somebody, right? So if that was an automatic post that was going to go out, you might want to check that a little bit. Get in touch with us, right? Or, hey, we create viral content, or we've got this killer deal for you. You might want to be careful with that and make sure that you're softening that language. And so check your auto posts and soften those up, and being sensitive to what's going on. So maybe your imaging needs to even change, because, a lot of our auto posts, we had to change because we had a lot of our event posts going out, and we had pictures where everybody is together, because in BU we're all about community. So we had all these pictures, and then I thought, people don't know, was that picture taken yesterday or was that taken 2 months ago? And maybe, hey, BU is not practicing social distancing and all of that. So you want to be sensitive to what people may be thinking and interpreting in your messaging, and maybe change those up a little bit. So I would say, to recap all of that, and Jennifer, to your point, is we have to, as leaders, help people in our organizations do the things that maybe they're afraid to do right now. So we have to address their emotions, develop relationships, and seek ways that you can connect with other people. And then also use social media, but check your auto posts and make sure that you're softening your language and your imaging. Rebecca?
That's great, Georgia. I really think staying on message and being appropriate right now is very, very important, as is just reaching out. And we have a great comment from Denise Broyles. She says that she's had vendors reach out to her just to connect. The vendors know that she's not in a position to expand or do anything additional, but it's really meant a lot just to hear from them. And I personally think that is a great thing that all businesses could and should be doing right now. Even it could be a note card, it could be a phone call, it could be an email, but it's just a way of a touch point saying, hey, I'm here for you, sending a message of hope and love. Has anyone got any other comments about that?
Thank you, Rebecca. We did something similar. We did reach out to our clients. Actually, our customer advocate, who, instead of calling her our business development director, we positioned her in this message that we sent to our customers really as her customer advocate, because she is, right? She's the relationship person. She's the front person who's their person. She's on their side. She brings in the relationships. She develops the relationships. And so it was a perfect message for her to say, hey, just making sure you're okay. We've got answers on the economic injury disaster loans. We've got answers on the paycheck protection program. We've got answers on unemployment. If you need anything, just reach out. That's what we're here for. And it was so well received. We had so many responses from our clients just saying, thank you for checking in. And it was beautiful. So great point. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jennifer. Other thing I wanted to bring up and ask is, what are our thoughts on doing something new, something we've not tried before, maybe something that even scares us? Buddy, what are your thoughts on that?
Thank you, Rebecca. It's funny, one of my personal mantras has always been, and my business partner and my wife and my friends will know this about me too, is live outside your comfort zone. It is incredibly uncomfortable to live that way. Of course, it'll turn your stomach on regular occasion, but I've given, I don't enjoy public speaking. I mean, I imagine not a lot of people do, but I've forced myself to do it. And I'll be honest with you, back in 2016, when I did my first one, It went okay, right? I watched it. Being in the media business, we filmed it. It was marginal, but the point is try things. You know, we're not going to grow, right? How do you grow unless you try new things? It's incredibly challenging, but after you've done something, it's like when you've completed any difficult task, you feel amazing, you know, or at the very least, you know what you're not going to do again, or you know what you're going to do right, what you're going to do wrong. Even this show, we're on our third iteration of this show, and we as a team have learned so much about what our audience needs, you know, how to prepare, you know, all the technicals that go into this. And anybody that does any type of broadcasting knows there's a lot of technical stuff that can go right, a lot of technical stuff that can go wrong. So just be prepared for that. And then again, challenge yourself, especially now. The market is going to change. It is not going, I mean, I think Philip said this in the last episode, it's not going to go back to the way it was. Things will be different. So be prepared to be different yourself. Challenge your team to be different and try new things. I mean, I'm not recommending necessarily a software platform or anything, but there's so much available to us out there. Look into it, research, and trust me, I'm doing so much R&D right now. It's driving me crazy, but you have to keep the business going. And Philip, I see you have the thought.
Absolutely. I think you made a very valid point. It's right now, it's an unbelievable time to be trying something new or to be thinking in a new way. On the last episode, you recommended using this time productively to, as much as possible, to learn new things. And that is not only continues to be fantastic advice, but it's also important to try new things with your business. And we've taken the approach of what we're kind of calling the spaghetti approach. We're going to throw a lot of things against the wall and to see what sticks. Today is different than yesterday, and it's going to be very different than tomorrow. Our playbook, we essentially believe, is out the window. We have the opportunity to ask the questions of our entire business, all the fundamentals, all the assumptions that we have made over almost 4 decades in this business. Now we have the opportunity to look back at them and say, why do we do this? Is this going to continue to work moving forward? And this is something that every business has the opportunity to do now, and almost the necessity to do now, because it's going to affect every single company in incredible in unimaginable ways. And we have that, we have the opportunity to come out of this stronger than before. And that's going to be an interesting opportunity for all of us. Chris, I know that you have some thoughts about that as well.
Yeah, it's a great point. Trying something new now is basically required. But something not to forget about is that many of us in our business have something that we know that needs to be done, a big project, a big change, and it's been put off. It's put off because you're too busy, it's put off, right? So now is, to harken back to next week, what do you do to make productive use of the pause? If you were needing to do a major change, within your business, within the infrastructure, with how you process client orders, you know, now is a great time to make use of that time to upgrade or implement projects that have been backburnered that you know are going to help you. And you know, it'll help you come out of the gate stronger than you would have if you continued to leave it on the back burner. It's a great opportunity for those kinds of things.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Chris. So just to sum up what everyone just said there, if you have an idea, do it. And what's stopping you? So let's put it this way. If you have an idea, do it. If it doesn't work, it's because people didn't respond to it. If people didn't respond to it, then it doesn't matter because nobody really noticed. So you may as well give it a go, right? Georgia, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I love this dialogue that's going on. So there's a couple things here that I just want to recap a little bit about what Philip and Chris have been saying is, you guys, do not wait. Sometimes in our sense of fear, we want to say, okay, we're waiting for the doors to reopen and then we can take action. You don't want to be just starting when the doors reopen. 2 reasons. Number 1, you're going to be behind, you're missing an opportunity. But number 2, as Philip said, they're not going to reopen as they once were. So you have to have this shift, and you want to be ready for what that looks like. So you want to be taking action now to promote, and you can be building that up so that when the doors do open, people are excited to buy from you, and you want to do that. And then the main point that I'm hearing a lot is resonating with people is it's fear-based. And you guys know that I am wildly passionate about this topic of fear. I academically studied it. I spent my life around this and helping people bust through their barriers around fear. So let's look at this for a second. Fear is a tool to help your brain think through something. But fear is the only emotion that we actually feel and back away from. So if you're feeling like you're shrinking, if you're feeling like you're backing off of something, know that that emotion is fear and ask it what it's telling you. So fear will tell you this massive story that is possible, but it's not probable, right? So you want to ask it, what is it that you're afraid of? And then solve for it, because you know if you can solve for that worst case scenario, you can solve for everything up until that as well. And then you have to look at what fear is telling you. Number 1, that everything is permanent, right? That this is going to last forever, that your business is always going to be shut down, that nobody's ever going to be buying. You see this like exaggerated truth that fear tries to tell you, that it has some level of permanence. Know that that's not true. Everything is temporary and you will get through this. Then the second thing fear tells you is that you're not good enough to handle it anyway, right? And I want you all right now to pause and think through the hardest thing that you've been through. We've been talking about how this group, several people on this panel just graduated from the Goldman Sachs program inside of a crisis, inside of dealing with their own business, right? That is difficult to do. They did it, right? So what happens is, you've gone through maybe business closures before, hard times, financial times before, other economic crises before. You've gone through divorce before. You've gone through all these hard times before, right? But you have come out. So I want you to pause right now and know that you have the character built to get through this and to speak truth into that fear. So know that all of this fear around promotion and selling has to do with your confidence in your own ability and what it is that fear is trying to tell you to protect you from. And you can speak truth to that. Buddy, I'd love to hear what you have to say on the topic.
Yes, thank you very much. Very well made points, Georgia. So recently I had a talk with someone who is concerned. Now, this is a business owner who has multiple stores, very heavy expenses, but she knows that we're going to come out of this, and she was afraid, and we had to talk through some. That's an overstatement. She was concerned. She's a business owner. She has a couple leases. She has a store both here in Dallas and one in Las Vegas, and it's I'm going to go ahead and just bring it up just for some shameless promotion. But her name is Annie. She's in our 10K small business group, and she is the owner of Etoile Star. So Etoile is of course French for star, and they're handbags. So she knows that she needs to promote. She needs to get ahead of what's coming. So she joined us at our studio when we recorded a bunch of promotional pieces, all kinds of for things for in their store. Of course, lots of training videos, knowing that none of that's going to be ready for release. But she thought to get ahead of the rush, because there will be a rush. Everybody's going to there's going to be a huge marketing blitz. A lot of media created when things do open back up. Now, again, it won't be the same as it was before, but she's ahead of that now. So she was concerned about spending the money. She was concerned about what it's going to take to get there. But now she has her media. Now she's ready. So the moment, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, and this episode is talking about promoting to prosperity. Now she'll be at speed when the market opens. She's at full speed. Her media is ready. So the moment people walk into her stores, she has this new look. She has these monitors filled with all of her handbags. She has stories about each one of these and how they're made, the quality, all of that stuff. And so, she was like the rest of us. She's working from home. She's got closed stores, but she's doing something about it. So to your point, Georgia, don't let fear stop you. Let it motivate you. Think of what is possible and be ready for this next turnout.
Awesome. I absolutely agree. Never let fear stop you doing anything. Business, life, anything. So we have an audience question. What are some of the things your companies are doing to prime up relationships with clients and prospective clients right now? So just to prime them, we're not trying to sell right now. Jennifer, what are you guys doing?
That's a really great question. Thank you, Rebecca, and to whoever asked that. That's awesome questions. So I like to, again, go back to the idea of just serving, being available, being willing to give during this time. You know, I can make it about priming things, and I can make it about heavy promotion and priming customers and prospects, but I choose not to, because I'd really rather just give. You know, to be there, to help, to serve. That's how, I guess that's just naturally how we prime. You know, I just want to help people. It sounds weird, but that's really it. Thanks, Rebecca.
I think that's a really, really great response, Jennifer. And I think what's really important is just the message of giving. So right now, whatever it is that you're doing to help other people, give as much as you can away, and give it away via social media. You could post tips on, for example, dealing with the PPP application. You can post information regarding those things if that's what you specialize in. Just give it away. Let people know as much as you possibly can, and then when they are able to, they will know that you are a trusted voice and that you were there for them when everything opens back up and they're back and ready to get back into business.
I think that's a really good point, because it's sort of establishing credibility, you know, establishing your expertise in your given area. You know, it'll come back. It always comes back to you. But to not be focused on priming, to not be focused on heavy promotion, it goes back to empathy, right? It goes back to being empathetic and selling with feeling, and coming from the heart, and being authentic, and knowing your value, like we talked about before. You know, understanding that what you have to give is worth it. If it wasn't, you wouldn't have a business, frankly. So, you know, what can you do with that now to give people a warm fuzzy, to help them through a challenge, to help them understand the language in unemployment and PPP and all this? You know, I mean, I feel like that's all I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, is helping people through that. It's a good feeling. I feel useful while I'm going through all of this other stuff. To feel useful, to feel helpful, helps me give, you know, get through this. Giving helps me get through this.
No, I couldn't agree more. Giving back and helping people is the absolute best way to do it. And the more that you can give, the better, quite frankly, at this time. We have another great audience question, this time from Joseph. It's one of my favorite questions. What has kept you up at night, and how have you faced the challenge? Remember, this is the exact question you should be asking your clients, or at least thinking about what's keeping them up at night. Helps you understand how you can serve them. So who wants to answer that question?
Like many business owners, you know, I know everybody here is guilty of exactly that, is waking up at 4 a.m. with a task in your mind. Typing an email or having a response to an email, or say you're working on some specific task. You know, what keeps me awake in the morning is trying so hard to anticipate where the market is going. You know, we are all consuming every bit of media that's coming, and some of it's helpful, some of it's ridiculous. What I've found is not, or I'm attempting not to worry about that, not try to be such an innovator that I have that great next idea. What I found historically is whatever great idea I have, someone's already running with it. In fact, and within days, they'll have released it. I mean, personal note, I'm pretty sure I came up with the Uber idea about 5 years before it arrived, but I didn't act on it, obviously. But that's my point is, don't sweat it. If you're staying up at night trying to figure out the next widget, don't. Lean back on, this is just from my perspective, your expertise. You're at a place, you know, as Georgia mentioned, it's like we have so much expertise where we are, and Jennifer mentioned this, we're in business for a reason. we've succeeded this far for a reason, because we do know things. And that's what we need to focus on, is how can we bring that knowledge to our clients? How can we sit at, and I have this way with selling, is like, it's not selling. I sit at the same side of the table, figuratively, with my customers to make sure it's not about the money. It's not necessarily about the product. It's like, what are the goals? What does success look like? Jennifer, you have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I get asked, I'm caught up in my thoughts here. It's emotional. This is an emotional time. And, we've got a lot of retail clients. I know that I've had lots of conversations with friends who are retail store owners that have had to really change this up. And, Joseph, that was a great question. There are a lot of different things that keep people up at night. And I think it's our job to find out what they are. I know what's keeping my retail clients up at night right now is how they're going to continue to make money. What if they don't have the ability to sell online? What if their products really require you to physically be in their space? It's hard. And so I feel like reaching out, promoting in that way of, here are some really great thoughts for you to keep in mind for when this reopens, for when we can touch and feel again. And, helping that creativity just get pumped up a little bit has actually helped them get through the things that have been keeping them up at night. So yeah, thanks, Rebecca.
Absolutely. Well, we've come to the end of the show. Would anyone like to give us any final thoughts before I wrap up?
Thank you so much. I just really appreciate the opportunity to go through the pivot, pause, promote process with everyone. I know we have another episode next week, but for those who have tuned in, there's lots of really great information from each of these episodes. And to remind everybody, we as business owners, business leaders, or we're just like you out there. We're suffering through it. We're learning things. So don't feel like there's a commonality in all of us, is like that, the imposter syndrome. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be great at everything.
I just echo that too. And at risk of sounding cliche, my best advice to you is just be you. Stay true to your authenticity in everything that you do inside of business. When you're helping your people, your clients, whether you're promoting, whether you're pivoting, whether you're in this kind of dealing with your emotions, showing up with your vulnerability, just being human and being who you are, and trust in your ability to move forward into this new state, and rely on community around you. That can look like your people internally. It can look like external people. It can look like all of us. We are here for you as well. So make sure to reach out and stay connected with people. But just remember, the best thing you can do in life is just to be the youest version of you. Jennifer?
Thank you. Georgia, all I can see is your promotions on your site. Be you here. I love that. You guys are awesome. I don't know that I have anything more to add, just to echo the sentiments of everyone here. We're all doing the best we can. That's just it. We're all doing the best we can. Do the best you can with what you have. And rock it. Philip?
I think everybody said a great amount, lots of great advice, and I would just echo this and voluntolding everybody. We're all here for you. If anybody has any questions that we can help with, I think that nobody here would hesitate to engage and to be helpful. I mean, we're pretty much, this is what we're doing. These are challenging times. And quite honestly, I've found incredible value from speaking to people who are asking for my advice. It gives me an opportunity to learn something as well. And if we can help others during this challenging time, we would love to do that. Rebecca?
Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. We have our last show of Pivot, Pause, Promote at 10 a.m. next Friday. We will have a longer Q&A session, so please send in your questions. We look forward to answering them. Also, please subscribe, like, and we, Local Profile, will be bringing you much more content. One video series we have coming up is Local Leaders. Our first interviewee for Local Leaders is Marilee Kick, the CEO and founder of Buzz Balls. She's a phenomenal woman, and she'll be going live with me on May 4th. And I look forward to seeing you next Friday and then again on May 4th. Please contact us with any questions, and again, subscribe and like. Bye-bye.